Out here, Onigod's looking for opportunities but not finding them. South Destruct as well, pushing the positioning away, buying off this precious time. The Paris Eternal desperate to take it, but Dan falls, Josh.
I don't know whether this is doable anymore for the Paris Eternal. 10 seconds left. Neptuno's the only player in a position to touch. Look at him up there. They found him already, isolated him, and even this scrappy attempt at a recontest is not going to work. There goes the Paris Eternal, 1-2 record for them. And the Atlanta Reign put their first win on the board, and they keep themselves in contention for the knockouts of the main melee.
Preparation going into the Paris match, which is also the Shock match after. We were focused a lot on like rush mirror, rush comps. We know both those teams favor that. Also the map pool favored it, so we were going to put a lot of our attention into that. But then also just try to improve in our our weaker spots. We did put a lot of emphasis on that as well. So I think we mainly just focused on the matchup, and we kind of knew how they played stylistically. Like we knew they're a pretty aggressive team. So we just tried to, I guess, go through the week and just be aware of what we could run into, and just like the different matchups and play styles.
일단은 우리가 좀 잘하는 거 위주로 잘하는 위주의 조합을 하려고 했던 것 같고, 그래서 거기서 이제 부족한 부분을 계속 메꿔가면서.
I feel like we're doing pretty well, but there's still things we can improve, and it's early into the season. But it is a shorter season this year, so honestly I feel like it takes a lot more this season, even just because it's shorter. But like it's weird because it's very short, but like you have to grind way more because it's short. But coming into like the Paris and Shock match, there was mostly like the Rhine maps and stuff. So I feel like Rush is definitely our best comp. Our players suit those heroes way more, like especially our tank line. Like Gator prefers Rhine.
So going into the Shock match, if we 3-0'd them, we were instantly in. If we 3-1 them, we were tied. It was like a 3-way tie or something like that. And then if we lost, we were out. And if we went to map 5, we were out because of map score. So that was kind of like the different situations we were in going into the Shock match.
I don't think we went into the game with any real stress about it. We're just like, okay, if we beat them, that's gonna be good. Let's try to 3-0, 3-1 if we can, and just try to get the wins, get the map wins at the end of the day, and they all matter to a certain degree. So I don't feel like we had any pressure about the score during that game.
3, Kings Row. Map 4, Havana. Extremely good rush maps where the Atlanta Reign can flex into what they're excellent at. The map after this, Volskaya. That's going to be difficult for them, which is why I keep returning to this idea that Oasis is a must-win for them. They can't really guarantee themselves a victory on Volskaya. It's a little out of their comfort zone, but the Atlanta Reign could come out with a very good win on Oasis, Kings Row, Havana, and seal up this series if their rush comps are as good as people have been speculating that they are.
The Atlanta Reign, they have an advantage now. They have a much better amp matrix coming out. Can they get any kills off the back of this? Anyone poking their heads out? No, the Shock want to be going aggressive into them. The Blizzard's laid down, Striker using that Deadeye just to force them back, but Nero ends up falling here, losing a consistent core piece of their damage. Striker so low, he will go down, and FD God with the sound barrier, not going to be finding too much, but he does find the kill onto Pelican. The boop comes through, but at this point they've lost far too many pieces. The Immortality Field comes through, just to save Super for a few brief seconds, but not before he eventually goes down. The Atlanta Reign walking away with the initial team fight after a very, very long start.
Iris is slightly ahead when it comes to the amp matrix, but I don't think it's going to make a huge deal. What is that shadow? Okay, bold from Gator, doesn't find anything. And Choyobin's in the backlines here already, actually. Distracting Pelican. What?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
The old bait and switch, huh?
A forward
Yeah,
from Massa
okay.
and then a boot from Hawk as well. What a play there. And in the meantime, Kai is just staying alive, doing consistent damage throughout this team fight. FD God falls in the Atlanta Reign with Gator coming back in on the hamster. They're trying to turn this one around. The beat from Massa is just too late to catch Gator. Is
Oh
that going
my
to be
goodness.
critical? It doesn't look like it. The Shock are losing players left, right, and center.
Holy moly. The Shock have just lost too many players into this. Super will fall, and round number 1 goes to the Atlanta Reign here. That was ridiculous.
So now Shock themselves are at an advantage. They can always see where the Atlanta Reign are rotating to, immediately pivot over and match them. But Atlanta, oh, what a wall!
What a wall.
Fantastic from Nero.
Yep. And they're going to be finding that one. It forces ultimates out. The Earth Shatter comes through. It only connects onto Hawk Super. Caught up out of position. He's going to get taken down by Kai. This fight has gone disastrous for the Shock. They're so split up right now. The players, the Atlanta Reign, they recognize what they could do, and they rotated fast around the left-hand approach. And off the back of that, they pince around. They pierce into the Shock. And now the overtime ticks over. I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch this one. FD God might be able to get a body onto the point, but he had just to avoid this Deadeye. He's going to get taken down by Hawk. Choi now, straight up into the skybox. It's not over just yet, but FD God did go down with the beat once more.
You say it's not over. It feels inevitable, inexorable. The Atlanta Reign are just storming through, and they
Wow.
take our first map of Oasis.
Holy
a masterclass. A rush masterclass from the Atlanta Reign.
본인의 역할? 그냥 메타에 맞게 제일 잘하는 캐릭터? 히어로들로 그냥 그때그때 상황에 맞게 들어가는 거 같습니다. 예. 두 번째 맵이 일단 우리가 잘하는 맵이 아니었기 때문에 그냥 최대한 열심히 해보자라는 마음으로 처음에 들어갔었고, 그 다음에는 이제 경기를 하면서 점점 할만하다 생각을 해서 좀 더 열심히 했었던 것 같습니다.
Yeah, I think we have a really good system right now. I think it's kind of been figured out who plays what and when. We started putting like Pelican on the brig, for instance, this week. That was something that I think a lot of players were like looking forward to because he's like a freak at brig. You know, he spent a couple years playing it, so it was like a role swap, but it wasn't really a role swap. You know, like he had a lot of time on it. It's like a really hard hero to play. So I think that was like one of the new things we did this week.
Kill their backline. So this is going to be hard. Here we go, Smurf, just tickling them down. Twilight applies the nano boost, and this is it, the backline. I mean, what do you do against this?
Okay, they almost burst him down. That was the Discord Orb applied to Smurf. Just going to get disjointed now, but now the grab comes in right as the Primal is fading. So much damage being cleaved into them, but no follow-up, no kills happening. In fact, it's the Atlanta Reign who are the ones coming out on top, and the resources they're pouring into Pelican means that there is not going to be any kills going their way. The Atlanta Reign with a big advantage. They absorb the aggression, and now they're coming back in. Let's take a listen in at the Atlanta comms. Rally engagement from both these teams. They'll be looking to make them fight happen. The mine's onto the high ground. Gator just about gets out of his life. He has those shields. Nano boost applied! Smurf jumped straight into it, and he got blown up. The Discord Orb was already on him. Smurf gone, and now the Shock are caught behind enemy lines here. They might still want to take this fight. The grab gets sent straight in. Is there going to be any follow-up whatsoever? Post-bomb up into the sky. The damage is immense. Gravitic Flux has to be forced out now. Hawk needs to find a kill or two with it, but they're not getting it picks just yet. Twilight will eventually go down, but nobody can touch the Shock. Just when you think they're out of it, just when you think the fight is done, they battle back and they somehow find a better time bank. But now they're taking complete control of the high ground here. Violet with the Deadeye, holding it, but eventually lets it go. And the positioning of Atlanta Reign has been forced around this corner. It's a very difficult ask for him. He's trying to compete with Kai. Kai has such a long-range advantage when he's playing the Ashe. The Gator now trying to separate Smurf. The bubble gets locked down again. Gator with the mines. Might be looking for an opportunity to use it to stop the the Shock from really initiating in, but again, the bubble is off, and now the Primal Rage comes through, knocked off the edge. Perfect mechanics from Smurf. Wonderful work on the Winston once more. Backs up, and now puts his attention into the backline to try and split them apart. The Shock capitalize immediately. The space has been created, stunned up Smurf so low, but now the Nano Boost applied. The ult rotations are impeccable. The Atlanta Reign with only a couple of players left standing, not enough to stand up to the Shock. Great engagement, they took their time with it for sure, but eventually come out on top, taking away Volskaya.
Oh, here he's going to be trying to contest Kai if he goes up into that area and tries to raise damage down from above.
Oh, the Amp Matrix is down, the walls as well. The Immortality Field instantly goes down. Pin against the wall here, Gator. He's low, he's weak, but it's Violet who goes down, and look at that damage. Gator letting the Fire Strike rip through the Amp Matrix. 2 kills for him. It's a clean sweep here in this team fight now for the Atlanta Reign, pushing this one forwards. They're going to have ults to boot. You know, this map, we often say, you know, this is the Shock's playground, but right here, Dragon Strike comes through. Almost a boop attempt's coming through, but no one's really capitalizing here, and Super's been caught out of position. Another great ice wall. The players have fallen, and now they don't even have to get the full completion here, Josh. The players are tumbling one after the other, just snowballed. The momentum is behind the Atlanta Reign, and they are so close now. That red box, that's what they're aiming for. Will there be a contest from the San Francisco Shock? They have to get bodies onto it. They're struggling, they cannot do it. The Atlanta Reign taking away Kings Row, taking the series now in a 2-1 fashion. So close to closing this out. Yeah, scenario that we weren't really expecting at all. And a reminder as well, if the Atlanta Reign take this away and they win with a 2-map lead, I believe it sets up the 4-way tie scenario.
Contest, they don't have that speed boost Deadeye to be able to make space for them. They don't have an Amp Matrix either. So what can they really do here? A Dragon Strike could be good once Shock get close, but here it comes, speed boost Deadeye. Atlanta are going to try and meet it.
Okay, Gator gonna get taken out by that Deadeye, but the Self-Destruct is gonna be returning at least something. Striker goes down and nobody can really get Kai off. Eventually he's gonna be rejoining his team over the bridge. Stormhour pushing a player or 2 off, but Iris will fall. Kai's the last one standing here. Everyone very low on the side of the Shock, but ultimately it's just going to be feeding the war machine that is Violet. Building up that next amplification matrix. He's pretty far off it, but the Shock are rolling in deep here, Josh.
And rolling is the right word. They have just kept this going the entire time. They had to use an immortality field inside their own spawn doors there to be able to stay alive. Kai with a pick. That could be decent. Atlanta are flooding out of spawn, but their tanks are still so low.
Yeah, Kai's been offered a lot of space here, but he's got to do some heroics for sure. The D-Mech comes through. Okay, the Blizzard's going to be locking up a couple of these players. Super gets caught, but so does Hawk. Hawk locked against the positioning, and look at that. Swinging away, the Shock are finishing with 56 seconds in their time bank.
Check this out.
Atlanta would be devastated to lose this map here. Full held on Havana. The Shock did it to the Houston Outlaws. And this time their attacking round was excellent as well. They already got that in the bag. Shock have so many ults to be able to use here. Speed boost Deadeye pushes the Atlanta Reign back. Kai tries to respond with a Dragon Strike, but it's in the completely wrong direction. Nero with a Blizzard has caught up so many people.
Yep, and Gator's getting slowly frozen up by that Blizzard. And now 15 seconds remaining. The Atlanta Reign are fully wiped out. The Shock begin to just slowly approach it. You can see Striker is just trying to just square up to the spawn doors here. 6 seconds left. It's up to Massa to try and contest, but they already knew he was there. The Icicle gets sent straight into him. Seconds away. Nobody can touch. And it ends with a whimper here. It's the San Francisco Shock are going to be taking Havana, and ultimately it will mean that the Atlanta Reign, I believe, cannot qualify for the knockouts tomorrow.
From like professional point of view, because every team, like, they're pros, they can adapt their playstyle like instantly if like their coaches tell them, or the players realize like, okay, these guys are playing like this, we can counter it doing by this. It kind of happened, for example, in the Shock game. They like figured out how we play and we couldn't adapt fast enough to their like change of play, so that's how they got the reverse sweep there. So I feel like fan point of view, it's just like easy to, hey, just win, just shoot better. It's like, no, it's like a playstyle thing that you need to like read the game, adapt, and like I feel like that's kind of our inherent weakness to a little bit, that we're like kind of slow to adapt if someone like adapts to our playstyle. So it's like we just need to get better and like in the rock paper scissors game.
It's usually like the map, the last map. It's like whether you've practiced it a lot and stuff, and especially when like you're the team that's leading, maybe like you start to get like cocky and stuff, and you could throw it away like that way. But in our situation, that match, it was like we could taste that we could win, and then we kind of just like we didn't fall back on like the fundamentals of the game and stuff, and we just kind of started playing solo. So yeah.
Usually it's like more of a team effort that like if someone changes their plays, that everyone else needs to like work with him too. Because if you like go from like hyper aggressive to like more passive gameplay, of course like everyone else needs to like pull back to that they aren't like running in solo. But usually it's like one player like noticed like that something changed and they call it out, and then everyone else like formulates the plan with that in mind.
So our plan right now is just to pretty much pick up where we left off. I feel like we're on an upward trajectory, so I think we're just gonna continue with what we've been doing. It's been working well the past couple weeks. Our second week was much better than our first week, even though we went 1-1. There's gonna be like a hero pool come out in like 5 days. There'll be a hero pool announced, so that'll be just a complete change up of the meta. It'll be not back to square zero, but like it'll be pretty much, you know, it'll be a big change as far as like strategy and how you play, comps, all that stuff, who plays, whatever. So I guess we'll just see. I guess a lot of teams are kind of just taking a break right now because you really can't do much practice until you know what the hero pools are, you know. So everyone's just taking this time to take a nice break, you know. But I think everyone's obviously still playing ranked and stuff every day. I think really our plan is just take a break and then regroup and just, you know, go hard, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like overall at the end of this tournament stage, whatever you want to call it, we started to like perform better because we had like a little bit of a coaching style change, which I feel like is, as soon as we get that like locked down, I feel like it's gonna be like really good for us. And overall, like the break is always good. You need like a little bit of mental reset, especially like a rough season like that or like stage. You kind of like have a couple of days off, think about like what you're gonna do again, and like just come back with a fresh mindset and like see how it goes from there.